Guys, welcome into Faith and Football. My name is Neil, and as always, I will be your host. Hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving. Hope you ate enough turkey and sides and all that kind of stuff. Desserts. We had some pecan pie from Keller's Bakery, and we're going to get into them in just a minute. But first, as always, let's get into the faith of faith and football, because remember, we always put faith first. So our scripture today is going to come from Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. I'm going to back up just a minute to verse 3 to kind of give you a little context. But first, I want to ask you this question. What is in your feed? What's in your feed? And I don't mean what you're eating. I mean what you're taking in. What's in your social media feed? Because, how many times do you log on to social media and you just want to log right back out because everything that's coming through is negative? Well, here's the thing. A lot of times we got ourselves to blame for that, because what you're looking at, there's an algorithm that they'll give you what you're asking for. See, the world's all about satisfying that instant want. God's not. God gives you what you need. He didn't give you what you want. He'll give you what you need. And in verse 4, or let me back up in verse 3, just give you a little context into our scripture today. This is where Jesus is in the desert. He's gone out to be tempted by the devil before he starts his ministry. And it says, during that time, the devil came and said to him, if you are the Son of God. See, he's trying to throw doubt right there, saying if. See, unless I'm mistaken, and you all out there can vet me, because I'm sure that there's someone out there there's probably a lot of people out there who are more educated about the scripture than I am. But I don't recall at any time God ever saying if. Like, if you do this, I'll do that. It's like, you do this and I'll do it. It's like there's no if. Like, you do it, this is what's going to happen. I'm this is what that means. Devil says, if you are the Son of God. So he's trying to throw that doubt at him, just like he throws doubt at us. Like, how many times do you go out in the world going, you know what, man, I really hope God's with me? See, it's a doubt. God's always with you, but are you always with God? So he says, if you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become loaves of bread. But Jesus told him, no. That's what we got to say to Satan. No, not today, Satan. It says the scriptures say, and here's where you need to get to, or where we all need to get to, where when something happens that we're quoting scripture, that we're able to have the ammunition to fire back at the enemy. It says, people do not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. See, God is our life source. He is what keeps us breathing. Like the air, that's from God. The ability to take it in, use it, and put it back out again, that's God. Okay? God's the only reason why we're walking around still. So what's in your feed? See, my dad used to work for the FDA and the Agriculture Research Farm in Beltsville, Maryland. And I remember one of his jobs was to mix the feed. They had this big, huge machine, and he had certain levels of certain feed that he had to mix together, and it would make the cows produce more milk or make the pigs leaner, or whatever they were trying to do. And he was the one that did that. He mixed it together. He made sure that all the components were in there properly. And Jesus makes sure, God makes sure that all of our components that we need are mixed together properly. And I want to ask you today, do you need a reboot? See, my wife always fusses at me. I'll complain about my phone being slow, lagging, and she'll be like, well, did you reboot your phone? I was like, no, I didn't reboot my phone yet. So sometimes we got to disconnect. Sometimes we got to shut down and come back up again. Sometimes we need to get back to the scripture because we've gotten away from it. I know I've gotten away from it. I've stepped off where I didn't have time. I was too tired. I was too busy. I was, too whatever to spend time with God. So there's times when God goes, okay, you're going to talk this way, but you're not going to do what is necessary. I'm going to step in and I'm going to go, you need a reboot. And God does that to us from time to time. Remember, the Bible says that he chases those who he loves. See, he leaves the 99 to go after the one. See, there's a story, the story in the gospel is that if you had 100 sheep and one of them went astray, you would leave the 99 and go after the one. And Jesus does that with us. That's how special we are to God. I want you guys to remember going through your day, as you're setting your lineups, and you're struggling and you're looking at it going, man, there's so many injuries. I don't know what to do. It's not ridiculous to ask God for help in your fantasy squad. Okay. It's not unheard of to pray for your fantasy team to do well. Because remember, if we ask God for the little things, if we are faithful in believing for the little things, then God helps us out with the bigger stuff. I mean, what can be more minute in the entire, context of things that God's concerned about than your fantasy league? Like, how many of us were praying for that Monday night miracle? How many of us were, praying for that one player to come through for us? And it happened, but it's because we prayed. Now, how many times has it not happened when we're just sitting there yelling at the TV? Remember, God is in control of everything. Put it to the test. It's okay. It's okay to ask for prayer for everything. We are not in control of anything in our life. And the sooner that we acknowledge that, then the sooner that we'll be able to let God do what he wants to do, and we'll be open to what God has planned for us. So, speaking of what God has planned for us, and bringing up my dad reminded me that today, on Thursday, is my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. I'm not giving out his age, but I will also say happy anniversary, because 2 days on Saturday will be my mom and dad's anniversary. And they've been married quite a while. And in today's day and age, that is a rarity, which is sad to say, but I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my parents for being an example of good, godly couple. So, Mom, Dad, happy anniversary. First time I've gotten emotional. So, whew. Okay. Didn't mean to go heavy on you and go teary-eyed. Sorry, guys. Ooh. Okay. Now that we're through the faith part, let's get into the Thursday night Thanksgiving weekend massacre that happened over the weekend. We got a lot of injuries to get you guys. Whew. So we're going into week 13. We got playoffs 2 weeks away. We've got this week, and we've got week 14 to get through, and then we get into the playoffs. Now, some of you have already checked out. If you already checked out and you're still watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I will give you this bit of advice. If you're new to the fantasy game and you're so far out of the playoffs that you know that you're not going to make it, you're more than 2 games out, and you're the next closest person is not going to lose to get you in, or you feel like you're not going to win. Look, keep trying, because here's the thing, is that I've been in leagues where people have just checked out, and the thing that's really bad about it is that they're going to be playing guys who are the other person's win in that matchup is going to affect the lineup or the matchups in the playoffs. Because let's just say that you're the number 4 guy and you play somebody who's checked out. You win, and then you play somebody else who's checked out, and you win, and you bump up to 2. And if you're like our league, where you get 6 out of the 10 teams in, the first 2 are going to have a bye in week 15. So that right there bumped a number 4 team into the number 2 position, and it wasn't earned. See, number 1, you're kind of throwing the whole integrity of the league off. Number 1. Number 2, you're not learning anything. And you need to take this opportunity to learn what it is to fight, to keep on the waiver wire, to keep going after those players that are going to give you a chance to win. You never know. Something might turn up. Those crazy moments might happen. Keep trying, keep plugging away. If you need help, I'm still here. Okay. I don't care if you're not going to make the playoffs. I want to help you become a better fantasy player next year. Okay. Because we're still going to be here. We're still going to, be talking fantasy throughout the year. I'm going to do my best to, what I'm thinking about doing, and you guys let me know down the bottom. Subscribe, like, and share, and comment down at the bottom if you would like to hear some more scripturally based analogies between faith and football throughout the year, regardless of whether or not we have a game coming up. Okay, guys? Because I would like to have this be a regular gig, but in order for that to happen, I need your help. So promote it, share it, like it, talk about it. As far as I know, I am the only faith-based fantasy show that there is. If there's another one out there, hey, more power to you. Keep on chugging and keep on doing what you're doing, because God's watching and he's loving what you're doing. Okay. So buys this week. You got the Packers, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Titans. We're losing a lot. And we're losing a lot at a really bad time. We're giving Aaron Jones a chance to get healthy. But here's the thing, and I just saw this on my waiver wire. So you might want to go check this out. And we're going to, let's see where we're at. Here we go. This is my listener league waiver wire with 103.7 the game. This is not my league of record. But if we go to running backs, you see A.J. Dillon down there on a bye. Kareem Hunt on a bye. These are the things that you really don't think about when you're looking through the waiver wire or when you're thinking about going through it, because you're just assuming that guys have these people already rostered. Okay. You see Jamal Williams down there for Detroit. Also, look, people aren't thinking. They're not combing the waiver wire. These are people who have given up, or people that think that they're set with what they have. If you have A.J. Dillon, you've got a standalone running back, even with a healthy Aaron Jones. With Kareem Hunt, we've seen it go down time and time again. Yes, he is a headache to roster. Yes, he is a headache and an absolute heart pumper to actually start in a weekly lineup, because through the first 3 quarters, it's nothing but Nick Chubb. But Nick Chubb's been dinged up. Kareem Hunt's just coming back. So if Kareem Hunt is good to go and he's healthy, look, you had faith in D'Ernest Johnson when he was there. Why not have faith in a proven commodity in Kareem Hunt? So if you are hurting, if you are one of these guys who got through the weekend and you lost CMC for the year, like I did, if you lost DeAndre Swift, like I did, you're hurting at running back, you're going to need just that little boost, okay? And personally, I would take A.J. Dillon above Kareem Hunt. But for this week, above Kareem Hunt, I would take Jamal Williams. I mean, they're playing Minnesota. It's Detroit. They've got one decent pass catcher, and that's T.J. Hawkinson. If DeAndre Swift can't go, Jamal Williams is going to be a really good play for those who are hurting at running back, okay? If you've got, hurting at running back and you need Kareem Hunt, maybe A.J. Dillon's gone, maybe Jamal Williams has already been picked up. But go ahead and stash him. Okay, stash Dillon on the bye. Stash Hunt on the bye. This week, yeah, go ahead and grab Jamal Williams. Okay. J.D. McKissick, I would not mess with. Good news for the Antonio Gibson owner, because with McKissick out, it's going to be really, really dicey for McKissick to even get back in. We really haven't had any update on his injury yet, but definitely something to follow if you're holding him. If you're not holding him, I understand dropping him. I'm cool with that. Let's scroll down just a little bit just to see what's below the surface here. Romandre Stevenson is another candidate that you might want to pick up. Buffalo's been okay, but they've been really Jekyll and Hyde on defense. Let's see. Oh, here's another pickup for you guys real quick. Adrian Peterson has been signed to the practice squad of Seattle. Now, I know if you were like me and you were kind of really, really banking on DK Metcalf to do something for you, you're not really fond of the offense for Seattle right now, especially in that division. It is just a murderer's row going through Arizona, going through the Rams. Okay, you don't want to do it. But if you are hurting at running back, again, a decent running back on a decent squad, I would do my homework. I would check up, and maybe if you have the room to stash AB, I'm sorry, yeah, AP. AB is a whole different story we're about to get into in a second. But if you have the room to stash AB until he gets signed to the 53-man roster, they're going to need something because Russ is just off. So they're going to need to lean on the run, and they're going to need to lean on it a lot. So make sure you guys are checking your waiver wires. Make sure you're checking your Thursday lineups. We got a really good, well, I'm not going to say really good, a really interesting Thursday night matchup between Dallas, who is missing multiple coaches, and possibly Amari Cooper. But Amari Cooper is slated. He has traveled, from what I understand, with the team and is expected to play. Keep an eye on it right up until game time. Make sure you have room for a pivot. Also, if you are starting anybody, and this is mainly on the Dallas side, because there's not a whole lot you can start on New Orleans except for Mark Ingram. Why? Because Alvin Kamara is out for this game against Dallas. You got Dallas, you got the Saints in New Orleans, and Taysom Hill is going to be starting. Now, this is really interesting because without Kamara, the pass catching isn't going to be there because they really don't use Ingram like that. They use him a lot running. They use him at the goal line. They also use Taysom Hill at the goal line. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, so if you're in a pinch, Okay, if you're the Mark Ingram owner, great. If you are Aaron Rodgers owner, if you are, and I don't know why you would be Mayfield, or I don't know why you would be starting Ryan Tannehill right now, but if you're the Aaron Rodgers owner and you're looking for a backup, could you look to Taysom Hill? Sure, he's got rushing upside. He's probably going to get at least one touchdown, but we're going to look at it here in just a second, and there are definitely options on the waiver wire. On my listener league, there is Carson Wentz on the waiver wire, and we'll look at my league of record here in just a second. But let's roll down through the injuries real quick. We went over Ingram and Kamara. Ingram is supposedly good to go. Kamara is out. OBJ, we're doing a pair of Rams right now between OBJ and Henderson. Both of them did not practice, but both of them are expected to play. Now, do you really want to get into that? Look, me personally, I don't want anything to do with OBJ. I know he actually got a touchdown last game. He had a decent outing, finally got integrated, but are you really gonna rest your playoff bound hopes on that? No. Darrell Henderson, look, this is I've been saying it for a little bit. This is a buy low opportunity for Henderson. Go to the Henderson owner. If they're kind of unsure, they would be willing to take a lesser, more solid, more dependable running back as far as health goes over Henderson. So you might be able to maybe package something if you're trying to unload a wide receiver, unload them, give them a decent, middle of the road running back. Don't overpay for Henderson, okay? But you can probably go to the Henderson owner and get something out of it. Allen Robinson, look, hands off Allen Robinson, please. If you have Darnell Mooney, if you were fortunate enough to either draft him, pick him up, or trade for him, great. If he's on your roster, you are definitely starting him this week. Bruce Arians has come out and said that AB, here we go with the AB news, is out 2 to 3 weeks. So he is not going to help you get into the playoffs. However, if you are a playoff bound team and you're looking a little thin at wide receiver, I would definitely kick the tires on AB and at least stash him, taking him in to week 15. Week 15, week 16 is when he's due back, and that's when you are going to need him, okay? Kadarius Toney, this is another one that I would definitely keep an eye on, stash if possible. I know rosters are really thin right now, but Kadarius Toney definitely worth a stash. But here's the kicker. Daniel Jones might not be the quarterback from now until the end of the season. Why? Neck injury. Neck injury with a quarterback, especially one that they think is the franchise, and as bad as they're doing this year, they don't want to risk that. You got a first-year head coach. You got a quarterback who you think is your franchise, and he's got a neck injury. I'll tell you right now, look for them to shut Daniel Jones down. They don't want to ding this kid up any more than he already is. They're not going to be moving forward to win the division, okay? Yes, the NFC East is kind of a mess. Dallas is falling apart. Washington's rising. Philly's looking good. Do you really want to put him out there for a one and done in the playoffs? I wouldn't, but that's me. Kyler Murray, look, he is hopeful to play. Make sure that you're checking the Friday practice reports and the last minute injury reports leading up to game time. Also, if what I was going to say earlier about Dallas, make sure that any Dallas player you have is in their position, not on a flex. If you have, let's say, Amari Cooper, if you got CeeDee Lamb, if you got Zeke, if you got Pollard, if you got, well, you wouldn't have Prescott, but any of those guys, if you have them in a flex, make sure that you move them to their designated position. Also, Zeke owners, I would try my best to get off of Zeke. If he has a good game this week, get off of him on the high, sell high on Zeke if he has a good game against New Orleans. Why? Because there's already talk about limiting his production and limiting his workload. Okay. When there starts rumors about that, you want to take the best game you can and get as much for him as possible. Okay. Darren Waller is injured. He left the game, kind of left people in the lurch on Thursday. Foster Monroe, if Waller was your tight end, you're looking at Foster Monroe to step in, and he is more than adequate to fill that role. He might not have the upside that Waller does, but he's definitely going to get some targets. And look, in the landscape of tight ends, it's really rough out there. So make sure that you're looking at that and see if he is even available in your league. Let's see, Chase Edmonds is due back week 14. So you're still not going to have him this week. We still get another week with James Conner. So if you are a James Conner owner, then you definitely have one more week, which is a good thing for you. It's a bad thing for anyone who's trying to hold on to Chase Edmonds, because you're probably, if you're not out of the race for the playoffs, you're dang near, and he's not going to do you any good this week. Okay. Amari Cooper, as I said, is slated to play, but please keep an eye out because last minute changes could be made. Make sure you have someone to pivot to and make sure he is in your wide receiver position. Okay. Because you don't want to lose a flex on Thursday night. Okay. Let's take a look real quick at the league of record here. There we go. And guys, remember, if you are not on the Sleeper app, what are you doing? What have you been doing all year? Okay, I've been telling you guys, get on the Sleeper app. Now, I do want to take a second, and I want to thank Keller's Bakery of Youngsville. You can find them at 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. They provided the pecan pie for my Thanksgiving Day dinner. It was phenomenal, guys. Dusty, thank you so much. I appreciate it greatly. It was an outstanding pie, and if you love those dense pecan pies, tons of pecans in it, it was outrageous. I can't even talk about it. It's that good. Okay, if you don't believe me, go down, find them on Facebook, make an order. When you mention the Faith in Football sent you, you get 2 free mini cupcakes with your order. Okay, go down, check them out. Okay, now you can see quite a bit of trash talking was done on the back of one of my trades earlier this week, and here was the trade. I decided to get rid of DK Metcalf and pick up Myles Gaskin. Now, you might be asking yourself, why in the world would you trade DK Metcalf, who is arguably one of the better wide receivers in the league, for Myles Gaskin, who is at best a middle-of-the-road running back? Well, let's take a look at my squad. Yes, I have Jonathan Taylor. Yes, I had CMC. Yes, I had Saquon Barkley. However, I did trade Barkley for Darnell Mooney and Mark Andrews. You're welcome. I don't want to hold on to that instability in my lineup going into make a playoff push. So I dealt them for a couple of guys that I can definitely depend on, or at least I feel I can depend on. Lamar Jackson is in against Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh ain't been that good. Last week, they got destroyed, okay? And they shouldn't have been. Now, Jonathan Taylor, rock star, I'm cool. Myles Gaskin, let's pull him up. To start with, he's facing the Giants this week. It's not going to be pretty. They're probably going to get out to a good lead, and they're going to be running the ball to kill time after they get this lead. But this is the time of year when you look at rest of season ranking, okay? Yes, he has a late bye, I'm cool with that because I've got backup coming behind him. Okay. He's got the Jets to kick off my playoff week. Then he gets New Orleans and Tennessee. Neither one of these guys I'm scared of. Okay. So I'm cool with that. Now, we look at DK Metcalf. Sorry, let me go over here. And I traded him to garbage cans. Sorry about that, guys. So let's drag us down and let's check out Metcalf. So Metcalf here, limited in practice on Wednesday. He's dealing with a foot injury, okay? Yes, he gets Houston, but to kick off the playoffs, he gets the Rams and then Chicago. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to deal with that. Okay. Yes, he has a really good matchup week 17, but with those previous lineups, are you even going to make it to the championship? Probably not. And I'm not going to rest my hopes on DK, because if DK's in your lineup, you've got to start him. You've got to have him on your roster just for the upside. Now, if he's dealing with a foot injury, that could be something nagging him. He could go out in the middle of the game. He could go out in the first quarter. And then you know what you are. SOL. So, that being said, I'm perfectly fine with it. Let's run down the rest of my roster here. Darnell Mooney, Brandon Ayuk, you're welcome. Look, I had Ayuk a couple of times this season, and I dropped him, and I picked him up, and I dropped him, and I picked him up. He was just back and forth. But Deebo Samuel, and it's something we didn't cover on the injury report, but Deebo Samuel is doubtful for this game against Seattle. And the Seattle defense, look, Taylor Heineke is carving up the defense for Seattle. How much better do you think Jimmy G is going to be with Brandon Ayuk in there? Okay. Then we got Mark Andrews, Mike Evans. And I know Mike Evans didn't do a whole lot for me. He did basically the same thing that DK did. So why not trade Evans and keep Metcalf? Well, here's the thing. AB is out at least until week 15. Then he's got a better quarterback. Yes, I know he's like older than dirt, but he's still out there performing. So I'm good with that. Now, here's my only dilemma. Is my second flex with Miles Sanders versus the Jets. Now, I did go out and pick up Dontrell Hilliard. Hilliard is apparently the heir apparent to Derrick Henry. Did really, really well week 12. Week 13, get the bye. And this is one of the things that you need to look at, because this is something that could be on your waiver wire, because he's on a bye. He's not really a big name, and people really aren't thinking about him, so they're going to miss him. So if you have room, like I did, go out, pick him up, stash him, hold him till next week, because next week I lose one of my starters at running back. But if we go down here and we look, he gets Jacksonville for week 14. I'm loving that matchup. But Myles Gaskin has a bye next week. I plug in Dontrell Hilliard. I'm good to go. I'm comfortable with that. Now, my only other thing here is that I've got Miami's defense going against the Giants with possibly a backup quarterback. So I might wind up switching them out with the Rams, but I'm going to have to look at the injury report and see who's dinged up, who's not. I'm going to have to do a little homework. So I'm going to be studying this weekend, guys. Yes, even I study. DeAndre Swift, look, not expected to play. That's why Jamal Williams is such a good pickup and play this week. Now, I don't see them running the ball a whole lot. I think they're going to be behind. They're going to have to pass. But I do have Javonte Williams, the other Williams, from Denver. Yes, he's on my bench, so I might be looking at that, and might be switching him out, but it's also going to depend on the Melvin Gordon situation, because Melvin Gordon got hurt last week, and his status for the upcoming game against KC, who you can definitely run on. I might be switching him up. Matter of fact, you know what? This is why I love doing this show, and this is why I love talking to you guys. I'm going, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to switch up Sanders, who was listed as questionable, with Javonte Williams. I'm really liking the matchup. It's at KC. We're talking KC in December. It's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty. And you make sure that you look here. Here's the forecast. Okay. We got rain possibly in Baltimore for that game. Taylor's playing in a dome. We got rain with Gaskin. Looks like it's going to be windy in Chicago. Shocker. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm guessing thunderstorms for the northeast, or I'm sorry, the far northwest. Windy down here at KC. So when it's windy, we're good for running backs. In a dome, you're good for everybody. But better for your wide receivers. And Atlanta is playing, or Tampa is playing in Atlanta. And this is a game, I know anybody who has followed Matt Ryan, he's a pain in the butt to actually try to play. But if you're in a pinch this week, he might actually have a decent game. So he might be my stream of the week for quarterback if he's available. Now, with Carson Wentz, it's kind of hard to tell. Yes, he's playing Houston. So Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, definitely two quarterbacks that you can take a look at. I'm really kind of stopped the start sets right now because I'm trying to help you guys with pickups, with your trades, things like that. So if you have any start set questions, we're kind of getting into the later part of the season, and it gets really tricky on answering start sets questions. I can give you start sets, but that might not help you. I want to help you specifically. So if you have a specific start set question, please, down the bottom, comment, leave a comment for me, leave a question. If you need to follow me on Twitter, at Faith, the letter N, football 1 on Twitter. Hit me up there, and I will take care of all your start set questions. I'm hoping to be live Sunday before game time on all your last minute stuff. So make sure you look at me for there. As always, I want to thank my sponsors, Keller's Bakery in Youngsville, and Zia of Lafayette. Look, guys, if you don't believe me, go down and check it out for yourself. We're bringing back the bread pudding. Shh, don't tell nobody. Well, not tell everybody, but just give me about a week or so, I think. But if you're looking for bread pudding for Christmas, for your holiday get together, definitely hit us up. You can call us 406-0013, or just come on down. We're on Ducey Road, right behind the Grand Theater off of Johnson, and right in front of Red Laurel's Health Club. Go find us. Trust me, Zia's kicking. And for the holidays, we're taking care of all your catering needs. Make sure you go talk to Andy at Zia. Give him a call, 406-0013, and we'd be more than happy to supply you with a whole mess of grits, not to mention all the fixings and stuff that go along with that. Okay, guys? Check them out. Tell them the Faith in Football sent you, and say hi when you go down to Leonard and Heath and Tucker and all the guys down there, okay? We'll see you guys next time on Faith in Football. Good luck this week, and make sure to set those lineups, and make sure to move your Thursday players into the position and out of your flex. All Monday players need to be in your flex. So we'll see you guys next time on Faith and Football.